And so sometimes what will happen in relationships, a man and woman will meet. Oh, she's so hot and sexy. Oh, he's got money. Or, oh, he's so hot and sexy. And then they come together and they start dating, and the woman ends up being too eager because she maybe hasn't had a relationship in a while, or she wants to fit in with her friend group, and she wants to have a Valentine to give Valentine Day gifts to, and so she will become really eager with him, and she'll be kind of pursuey with him. She'll start to come on too strong. She will start to maybe like plan the dates, or like show up at his house, or try to help guide him and lead him to what to do in order to progress their relationship along and solidify it and get him to be more committed to her. There's just sort of this unspoken energy between them. They both want to be in a relationship. They're not really thinking through it intentionally and being intentional about their dating and where they're going to go. They're just kind of running on autopilot and thinking that they both think that each other is attractive and they could potentially go somewhere with their romance. But the energies are just not quite on point. Okay, the energy dynamic is starting up as something to be unhealthy, what we would consider to be unhealthy. Not maybe unhealthy in their book and in their eyes and to their belief systems, right? But to a healed person, they're starting off in an unhealthy manner because she is more in the masculine role, right? And he's a masculine man, could be, but he's sort of just gotten really spoiled and accustomed to women that do come on to him more strongly, more sort of lead the relationship along, help him feel like he doesn't have to make such difficult decisions. She sort of becomes like this convenient woman, this comfortable, convenient woman that he doesn't really have to work that hard for and doesn't have to really invest a lot of his energy and heart and soul into, because that is something that's very vulnerable and it requires a lot of strength. It requires a lot of internal strength from a man in order to make a lot of emotional investment and work really hard in pursuing a woman, right? So these kinds of more easy masculinized women become more of a convenience to a wounded masculine man. And so he becomes very spoiled to that. And they just kind of get into this fling, right? This sort of relationship dating experience where they are like being in each other's energy constantly and talking about life and sharing things in life and going out on dinner dates, right? And sleeping together. Oh my God, sleeping together. Sleeping together. Okay. They end up doing these things. And then all of a sudden it just trickles down to nothing. Like, woman's questioning, well, what the hell happened? Why is he not attracted to me? Why is he complaining? Why is he being so distant with me? Why is he ghosting? Why is he ignoring me? Why is he not answering my phone calls? Or maybe the woman starts complaining too much, or he starts complaining that she is trying to change him and not happy with who he is and his ways. And it's just like a mess of a fling. It's a mess of a thing that they call a relationship, that they've done slapped the label of intimate relationship on, simply because they went into it not knowing what the hell that they were doing and what they were getting into and where they were going with it. Okay. They've built this whole relationship that they created together on wounded energies and not understanding the opposite sex and not being fully embodied in their healthy energies, right? in their emotional strengths as men and as women. So they're beginning this in a very wounded space, and so then they end up breaking up because they think that, okay, well, this relationship didn't work out. Well, goodbye, on to the next one. So they're breaking that bond, breaking that tie, ripping that cord, right? And it hurts, right? So they just keep perpetuating this cycle a couple of times with different dates and different partnerships, people that they're attracting romantically, right? And then they find themselves, why can't I find a man that is good for me? Why are these relationships that I'm having in my life simply not working for me, right? They're not looking into the mirror, okay? They're not healing their hearts. They're not taking the time to really reflect and understand a lot of these basic relationship principles and relationship energies that are needed in order to understand how to have healthy, thriving relationships, right? So then, for them, a feminine woman will come along for a man, for this same man, or a masculine man will come along for this woman, right? And they're in this like self-sabotage cycle, right? So when that healthy masculine man shows up for them, or that healthy embodied feminine woman shows up in this man's life, requiring a certain level of energetic commitment from him, requiring a certain level of strength from him, or him requiring a certain level of femininity from her, requiring a certain level of support and wisdom from her. When those healthy, embodied, integrated men and women show up, they don't know how to hold it. They don't know what to do with all of that embodies. They don't know how to properly contain and hold tightly onto that divine sacredness. Okay, am I making sense here? So because of all these poor relationship experiences that they've gotten themselves into and experienced bad breakups, one after the other, all of these toxic cycles, that when a healthy person that requires something greater, requires something higher vibrational, that shows up and they simply just run away from it, right? They simply don't know how to hold that. Even though in their soul, that is what their soul is desiring. It's what their soul is craving. It's what their soul is looking for. It's where their soul is desiring to rest, right? It's desiring to rest in that peace and in that tranquility. It's desiring to experience a new way of doing their relationships where it feels very calm and at ease and peaceful, but their nervous system simply just doesn't know how to handle that calm and safety, because what has become safe to them, unfortunately, is just this toxic anxiety feeling relationship, this very treacherous, unsafe, emotionally unstable relationship, right? This needy energy. That's what their nervous system has become really, really comfortable in. Okay, I hope that I'm making sense to you here, right? So what feels comfortable and safe to our nervous system is not always good for us. It is not always actually what is considered to be safe and healthy. It's just what we have had to do, and the hormones that we had to produce our entire lives in order to survive, right? We're in this sort of survival mode. Babe, I can't tell you how much this information is going to help you in your dating and relationship life, okay? You need to understand, you have to have this basic understanding of how relationships work and how men and women think and behave differently, because this is information that really changed a lot of my perspective on relationships and just being so firmly rooted in that. Babe, no man has the power to break my heart. They just don't have that power, okay? Doesn't mean I don't get hurt by men or situations, right? Doesn't mean I don't get hurt by words. Doesn't mean I'm sort of this like invincible, powerful human being that never experiences pain, okay? It's just that no man has that sort of like ultimate power over me without my consent and me opening up myself to him fully and vulnerably in a very safe container, in a container that feels very safe to me, which to me is a marriage container, right? If I'm not in a marriage container, then there's no safety outside of that. There's no safety outside of that. I've already known and studied all of these men who they jump from a relationship to a relationship simply because marriage is not required of them anymore. And they have no problem like ripping these spiritual tight bonds apart. They experience pain from it. They might try to go, cover up that pain and pretend like it doesn't exist, or work a whole lot to try to fill a void, or drink a lot, or sleep around a lot, right? But in the end, they're really only hurting themselves and the future of their ability to feel wholly and fully and experience a lot of love and romance, right? Let me just go back to the sleeping thing too, okay? Because I will never shut up about that, okay? It's something that is very, very, it's very heavy to me. Because when I hear about people casually sleeping around who have no sort of second thoughts and care about their sleeping around, it's very painful. It's painful that they pretend like it's casual, or pretend like they're not hurting themselves or hurting the other person. It's a fucking delusion, okay? And I promise you that if you show up in an energy where you are virtuous and you refuse to give yourself intimately to a man, I promise you that you will save yourself so much heartbreak and so much pain. And you'll also gain a lot of wisdom with that, okay? You'll gain a lot of perspective on things while you are preserving your energy, your sacred celibacy, okay? I promise you that when you don't engage in casual relations with a man, you will also find out exactly how he feels about you. You'll find exactly how he feels about you, and very, very quickly, right? He's either gonna pursue you harder and be more intentional with you once he figures out that you're not going to sleep with him, or he'll just go bye-bye, okay? Bye-bye, on to the next easy woman that will give herself intimately without requiring much commitment or requiring much effort, okay? You will find out very quickly where he stands with you if you do not sleep with him, okay? Actually, just recently I was in a conversation with a guy, and he was telling me that I asked him, because he asked me a question, right? And so I bounced the question back, and I said, so why haven't you found someone to like settle down with, right? And I don't really remember exactly everything that he said, but I remember him saying like, it's just confusing. You know, he was like, it's confusing, because he agrees with a lot of the stuff that I say, right? He's like, it's confusing out there now, and we will just, I'll date a woman, and, you know, I'll be attracted to her. We'll date for a while, hanging out and hooking up. And then all of a sudden it's like, I don't know where we are. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where it's heading, and it just kind of like falls off. And I was just like, oh my God, like he was calling it a situationship. And I was like, what the hell is that? What the hell is a situationship? What does that even mean? Okay? What the hell is a situationship? And I'm like, I can tell you exactly how to avoid a situationship. Okay? Simply don't make yourself available for situationships. Know what the hell you're doing and where you're going and what you're getting into. Be intentional when you meet somebody. Be intentional with it. Know who you are. Know your own values. Know where you stand. Know what you're willing to accept and not to accept. Know what you want for a long-term goal. And then you won't attract situationships. Show up in the energy of someone who does not make themselves available for casual flings or situationships. And then guess what? You won't have situationships. You won't. You don't even know what that means. You won't even ever experience any kind of casual fling or situationship, because you simply don't align with the energy of that. Get it? I don't know how much more to make sense of it. I mean, I kind of get it, right? Because here in America, we just slap labels onto anything now. We just fucking make up random crap and slap labels on it so that way we can sell pharmaceutical drugs, right? Oh, there's a mental disease and there's a pill for that, right? Okay, cool. I get it from that perspective, right? But men, women, men, stop fucking sleeping with just any woman, especially one that you are not committed to. Women, stop fucking sleeping with men, especially men that you're not committed to. Stop fucking doing this. Stop doing it. Stop giving your bodies and yourselves intimately to people that you barely even know or know where the hell you're going, and you share no compatibility. You don't share any similarities. You're not committed to each other. Stop fucking sleeping with people, okay? Stop doing it. Stop treating this intimacy as something so casual. It's never casual. It's never casual. Back in the Ice Age days, when they were actually smart and using their brains, right? They knew, they were smart enough to know intuitively that sleeping with someone was actually very dangerous and actually costly, and that there were repercussions from sleeping with someone, especially women. Back in those days, women had to be very careful of who they were intimate with, okay? Because if the man was an enemy, or if he could not protect and provide, or if she was in an unstable environment, that was very, very dangerous to her and her survival, to her offspring's survival. Very, very dangerous. They just intuitively knew this. Nothing was ever treated as casual. So we need to understand and get back to the understanding and the wisdom of the past, where engaging in sexual relations is never casual. And stop giving yourself to someone that is not your wife or your husband. Stop doing it. Really, no fucking wonder some of you don't want relationships anymore. No wonder you've been so maimed and bruised and wounded by some of your past relationship experiences. You've done spiritually binded with so many different people, engaged in these casual relations, pretended like it's nothing, ripped all of those bonds apart, ripped that spiritual ties, ripped that spiritual tying apart, and now you're just walking around doing life questioning, why can't I find somebody for me? Why do I hurt so bad? Why do I keep engaging and attracting and picking people who are not good for me, who are not compatible for me? That's why. Stop giving yourselves intimately. Excuse my French. And I didn't think that this was going to be another preaching video. But I swear when these conversations are brought upon me, and I hear of people who are struggling and just have no idea about engaging sexually with someone because they think it's so casual, it just does something to me. It just fires me up inside, and I just simply cannot help it. So please, for the love of God, know what the hell you're doing when you're dating, where you want to take things. That way you stop hurting yourself and other people. Okay? We need a more healed world, a healed society. We need more men who have to work hard in order to attain and acquire women, where they don't have women handed to them on a silver platter, where women are not throwing themselves onto men, paying for men, providing for men, buying men's houses, moving men into their homes, where men are not spoiled to that and becoming comfortable in that, and where women are more soft and nurturing and delicate and feminine and embracing the female traits of their souls. That's what we need to get back to. And yes, a big part of it is simply by requiring that you're not going to just sleep with any random person simply because they say that you're hot and sexy, or simply because you share some of the common, simply because you have the same taste in music. Think with your brain. Let your intuition and wisdom guide you. Stop following culture's bullshit.